Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Muhammad Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Muhammad Fahim.
Good morning, Chicago. Good morning to the entire world. This is Muhammad Fahim with the Lightning Strike, coming to you live on WCPT AM 820 from Chicago. And with me in the studios today is Ken DeLuke.
Howdy, folks.
Maria Muzaffar.
Hello.
And Sheila White.
Good morning, good morning.
Alderman John Arena is not going to be with us today and for the next Sunday also. He's taking a quick break. But that's what we are going to be looking at, is what is happening in the world again today, folks. If you have been watching the news, if you've been following the news, we want to talk about Bishop Marion Budde also today. Sheila, you want to start off with Bishop Marion Budde? And
yes, I do. Bishop Budde. You know, people were actually wishing her dead, you know what I'm saying? And she's just asking for a little human kindness, a little human compassion, and that's not asking for too much. I mean, her being a Christian, most people in the Christian faith, that's what they practice. Hopefully, compassion, love,
empathy. And it's amazing that she's asking the president to show mercy, and his response is, "You need to apologize." Why would you apologize to somebody for them asking you to show mercy?
He's the one that stood with the Bible in his hand in front of the building. Okay,
upside down.
He did not put his hand on the Bible when he took the oath. So please, we have to remember, folks, this is a guy who is the very epitome of what the devil should be, okay? And we go ahead and, by the way, let's not talk too bad about the president from now on, okay?
That's right.
Because there's this one guy who put up a Facebook post in Florida, and he got arrested yesterday for threatening the president.
Yes.
And what did he exactly say?
Well, I don't want to repeat it. I don't want to be arrested.
I got it.
Wait, come on. We do have an attorney on staff now. So.
Right.
Okay. So here's the thing, folks. We will be going in with our usual thing today, with our person of the week, and then we'll be following it up with a segment on what is happening with the recent slew of orders that Trump has signed, the numerous executive orders. So at 9:30. We are going to go into our segment with Maria Muzaffar on what is your segment, Maria?
Breaking the echo chamber, getting really smart on policy.
Okay, so stay tuned with us. And today the station's phone lines are down, so we'll not be able to take in any phone calls on the station. But if you would like to follow us on Facebook, if you're following us on Facebook, if you wanted to make a comment, if you want to just join the conversation, feel free to do that. Okay. So, Ken, if you would like to please bring in our person of the week, and Sheila, if you can introduce her.
Okay, good morning, everyone, again. Our person of the week is Michelle Krashecki, and she's from the Chicagoland area. She's a comedian, and do we need a lot of humor? Not only today, we need humor for the next 4 years. Want to welcome Michelle to the show. Welcome to the Lightning Strike, Michelle.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Look at that. I think that this is a heck of a lot better than having them coming through the station.
It is. It actually is. Hey, Michelle, tell us a little bit about why you got started in comedy. I mean, you did this before this last election, obviously. You've been doing this for a while. You're not new to this. You are true to this. So what was your journey like going into comedy?
Well, I began, I taught, I loved performing as a kid. I was a very good student, but I loved performing and making people laugh as a kid. My parents were very funny people. So I taught special ed. I majored in theater in college first year, and I did not like the lifestyle. I thought, I want something more traditional, but I taught special ed for years. And then when I started going to a church where they had a drama team, and I started doing funny and doing the funny midlife. This was midlife.
Oh, okay.
And a friend of mine said, you need to go to Second City. You're hilarious. And so I've always thought about it. So that's kind of what started me. I had a lot of people in the church telling me that it was just funny and just go for it. And I did that. I went to Ken Davis seminar, and he's a comedian speaker. And I started taking classes at Zanies, and I started doing, I started actually in the Christian market at that point. And I started doing it at churches and all kinds of things. And then, through raising my children and all this economic downturn and stuff. So I've been in and out of the game, but I've been doing it over 15 years.
So, hey, Michelle, how would you have addressed President Trump if you were in the National Cathedral that day and you were trying to get Jesus' message across? What would you have said? And I'm trying to put you on the spot over here.
Oh, no. I mean, first of all, it's kind of hard for me to, I don't really talk a lot about politics in my act per se. I do have my opinions. Mm-hmm. But if I were in the church and addressing, I don't know, I really don't know how, I stand with what the bishop said. I personally do. And so good for her. And, but I really, don't. That's a question that I really can't
Michelle,
answer.
Here's the thing, Michelle. It's not politics,
yes.
Right? It is not politics. It is a church.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the bishop is delivering his sermon based on what Jesus said.
Right. Of course, yes.
And
of course, but see... Yeah,
for our president to come back and all his followers to come back and start bashing him, they started putting out a fake news rumor that she's gay. She's married. She's got 2 children. Okay, so just look at the caliber of these people out there, and it is just horrible. Okay, let's get back to commenting.
Let me just say this I'm mortified. And so that's kind of a reason. I do a lot of more secular things right now. Uh-huh. And because of my views, I have been kind of, there's just certain areas that I just have trouble with, but I'm on board with everything that you've said.
Are you going to be performing someplace in the near future where we can come and see you live?
Well, I will have my schedule up on Instagram, MichelleKComedy.com. And I'm also on Facebook too. So Michelle, I put my, all of my, my website is it's an older website. It's currently under construction. I mean, they can still access it, but there is not a calendar on there. But I do a lot of events.
Michelle, I wanted to just mention one thing.
Sure.
You're so funny. She's hysterical when you're listening to her. It's a laugh fest when you're with Michelle in the room. And, one of the things that I love that when people are talking like philosophy and things like that and about Plato, I'd like you to tell that story in the next few seconds.
Sure. Yeah. I talk about how my kids are totally different. I have 2 kids actually technically in the autism spectrum, but they're also ADD. And so, but they're both different kids, in the same household. So I said, the joke was my oldest daughter is exactly like my husband. They're deep thinkers. They quote famous theologians and philosophers. And I said, my youngest daughter's like me. We quote SpongeBob. So I said that this is what we're doing at the dinner table. We have these conversations. My husband's like, in the Dark Ages, they had to find different ways to communicate the gospel because they couldn't read. And my youngest said, no, duh, it was dark. And I said, they're talking, this is how it is at the dinner table. I said, they're talking Plato. We're playing with it. So that was my joke.
Yes.
Okay. So, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. And, folks, that is Michelle. And if she's got something going on, please go to her website. And do you mind giving the website again?
Yeah.
Yes, Michelle, 2 L's, KComedy.com. Also, that's exactly my Instagram. They can look at my Instagram. They can contact me through my Instagram or through my Facebook if somebody would like to contact me about doing a private event or a church event or any kind of event.
Perfect. I got something going on in Mar-a-Lago that I would recommend your name to.
I think I'll pass on that
one. Thank you, Michelle.
Michelle. Okay, folks, that was Michelle joining us. She's a comedian and she's going to be performing in Chicago. Just go to our website and check it out. And Ken, are we going in for a break now or are we continuing?
No, we got about 6 minutes. We're good.
Okay, perfect. So today, folks, what we wanted to do was to focus on the numerous executive orders that President Donald Trump has signed. God, it sticks in my throat when I say the words President Donald Trump. Since taking office in January 20th, okay, this guy has been on a trip signing executive orders. And he signs the darn thing. Stephen Miller is just standing over on his shoulder, looking over and saying, okay, this is what this executive order is. Trump has no idea what it is. He has never read it. He has not written it. This has all been designed and defined and already in place before the elections by the Project 2025 team. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at the immigration and border security, things that he has signed. We're going to look at the energy and environment, federal workforce and government, international relations, some of the other notable executive orders. Here's what is happening, guys. This guy is trying to distract us by showing all of these shiny objects, okay? And his enablers like Tom Homan and all the others are coming in and saying, oh, we had like 1,200 arrests yesterday. Okay, we got these military transports taking people over to Mexico. So if you look at the news, there's nothing about anything to do with the economy. There's nothing about anything about bringing prices down. My eggs are still like, what, $8 or something a dozen?
Yeah, the national average right now is $7 a dozen.
Okay. The war in Ukraine has not ended. He promised to end that within 24 hours by dialing up his friend.
Although he did cut all aid to Ukraine yesterday.
Okay, because that's what his friend Putin has been telling him. Okay,
right.
So I don't know what Putin has on Trump. Going back to the first Trump administration, this has been going on forever and ever and ever.
Well, didn't Trump say something about a golden age? And isn't the thing that Putin has on Trump in some reference with golden in it?
Yeah, we're talking about, taking a shower, I guess. So here's the thing, guys. Why are we still talking about Trump? I don't really want to talk about Trump on every show, okay? But seeing the fact that he is our president and this is our country, we have to raise awareness. And I'm really, 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 really surprised at the Democratic Party also. These guys are going to sleep for the next 4 years, and then 6 months before the next election, they're going to bring in a candidate, and they'll expect us to vote for the candidate because the candidate is going to be against Trump.
Well, let me say this, Mohammed. I think this is the biggest problem with when we see these two parties rival, right? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about first the presentation. There's intent in presentation. We always talk about this. When you want to change policy, you need to have some sort of media strategy. The media strategy that Trump has had is let me show everybody that I'm extremely decisive. I'm extremely decisive, and now let me start throwing in these orders, which, by the way, majority of the presidential proclamations have to be done through a constitutional change. They can't be done through presidential proclamations. So there's this whole presentation to not just say that I'm efficient and I'm quick and I'm decisive, but I'm prepared. And like you said, Mohammed, all of this was actually laid out before the election.
Yeah.
And so this is preparation. That is the message that they're sending. We're prepared. We said we're going to be decisive, and we're going to do it. Once you've set the tone for the country, for tons of individuals that actually did not want to vote Democrat, who don't know the deep dives of policy, are thinking, finally, we have somebody that's taking action. So the response for the Democrats can't be, oh, man, these are ridiculous. Because that's not going to be bought. We need to see what the prep is on the other side.
Yeah, again, it goes back to that old parable. They're all excited that this guy's doing it. It's like the dog chasing the car. Then one day he catches the car by the bumper. Now what happens? Okay.
And here's the other funny thing, folks. We had a comedian as our person of the week. And the funniest thing is that our Facebook feed is upside down. So,
Great.
So as soon as we have a break, we're going to go back and make sure that the Facebook face it turns upside down.
I'm glad you checked.
But see, here's the thing, WCPT, this is a radio show that we are doing. We are not doing a video show.
Clearly.
So if we have issues on the video, bear with us. If not, hey, it's your problem, not mine. Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break with some more conversation. You can go back and visit our website, tlschicago.com or tlsradio.com, to follow us on the web. And we definitely post all our shows on social media also. So go back and check it out, and we'll be right back after this break. Right, Ken?
You got it.
Have no fear with regard to renewable energy. If you own property, either residential or commercial, in Northern Illinois, you most likely qualify for massive federal, state, and utility incentives. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down this number, 630-785-0031. You can have a no-cost, no-obligation conversation with a ComEd green light expert that can help you figure out which incentives you qualify for. Again, call 630-785-0031 for a free, no-cost, no-obligation assessment. 630-785-0031.
Looking for personalized, family-friendly dental care? Visit Distinctive Family Dental in Joliet, where Dr. Sunil Karup and his expert team bring 25 years of experience and state-of-the-art technology to your smile. Unlike corporate-owned practices, we focused on tailored care for every patient, ensuring healthy teeth and perfect oral hygiene. Discover why families trust us for all their dental needs. Call 815-439-1270 or visit distinctivefamilydental.com today. Distinctive Family Dental, 2405 Essington Road, Suite D, Joliet, Illinois, 815-439-1270. Your smile deserves the best.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Online on WPPT. So if you are reaching us, if you're hearing us, if you want to make a comment, follow us on Facebook. Go to my page and you can watch us on Facebook. And if you want to make a comment, if you want to make any kind of comments, feel free. That's not the thing. This is the thing that we have with the station over here. And you can always go back and catch us on the website later on. Maria, what's your Instagram that they can go back and watch some of the shows?
At Maria Mozaffar. It's my name, yeah. MAARIAMOZAFFAR.
Okay, so that is something that you can catch us up on. So let's do a kind of like a deep dive, not too much of a deep dive into the immigration and border security. These are some of the executive orders that the president has signed. He has declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border. So what that allows the president to do now with a national emergency is if you are catching somebody, let's say, if you're catching somebody, you don't have to have them appear before a judge, okay? Mm-hmm. You don't have to go through the process now. That is part of what the national emergency is. And that is something that he has already declared. He has suspended the U.S. refugee admissions program. So there were some refugees that were going to be coming in, especially from Afghanistan. There were some flights already scheduled. These people have got half their family over here, half their family over there. These are people that have actually gone and helped us in the war in Afghanistan. So these are not like, prisoners coming over or Afghanistan trying to empty their jail cells. These are people who have helped us, and he has suspended that program.
And I understand that the police have immunity too, to a certain extent, which is really interesting because police brutality was already bad before this situation. And I understand that also in Mexico, they're saying the president's like, hey, you're not sending a truckload or bus load or an airplane load of people over here and dumping them. So they're actually fighting back and speaking up as well. So it's not going to be so easy as people think.
It's kind of interesting, and someone pointed this out the other day. He's been on this rant on how Mexico and the South American companies are sending over their criminals and emptying their asylums. And I just realized he's hearing the word people applying for asylum, and he's equating that of being in the asylum. I don't know how many asylums they have in Mexico, but I'm pretty sure there's not millions of people coming from there.
No, there isn't. There isn't.
Oh boy. So this is what we're going to be seeing, folks, for the next 4 years. Bear with us. Okay, we have made a deal with the devil, and we're going to have to pay for it. Okay, coming back to the immigration and border security policies, right? He has reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy. He has attempted to redefine birthright citizenship, and you all know that there's been so much. This guy is throwing everything on the wall. Again, these are shiny objects that they are trying to put in our face to distract us from the real problems that this country is going to be facing and is facing currently. And all the promises that he had made in the elections, he is just going to be making sure that we don't hold him to account all that by showing these shiny objects. Okay. He has prioritized construction of the border barriers. Again, that's going to be making some money for some of his friends. Okay, nothing is free. Remember that. He has created the Homeland Security Task Force across all 50 states. In the past now, most of the border security enforcement was like about 100 miles in from the border. Now, that is not going to be there. They can come in anywhere across the country, even into the heartland and the farthest reaches of the country, and attempt to enforce border security. So the borders are now all over the country.
Can I just step in, because I don't think people appreciate really the necessity of why he's starting off with immigration. So first of all, we need to understand that he has now put the category of immigration into a national security category. People are just accepting that. We have to understand national security, deals with terrorism, deals with security issues, outside attacks. So those are actually the larger category of national security. What this administration has done very creatively is put immigration right where all those issues used to be. So now what we see as all the investment and the plans going in for immigration, it creates a threshold that's higher for other people to meet, because but not for him. So, and I think that's very important. Once you see immigration as a national security issue, and it's defined that way, then you use all national security measures to do that. To, for example, bypass that judicial procedure, right, that he wants to do. So that's something we need to understand, and to be able to counter that is to identify statistically how this is a national security issue versus cases where there are individuals that have broken the law, that are dangerous, that should be deported. And that is the PR. I always say this: watch the PR media messaging, because once you can define your terms, you're good. You can really go in the direction you want.
Okay, Maria. Now we're going to get it official. We're going to play your clip and come back in with what you have prepared for us today.
Awesome.
Are you tired of hearing the same old talking points? Ready to dig deeper into the headlines that shape our nation? Join us on Breaking the Echo Chamber, a fresh, fearless segment on the Lightning Strike radio show. Every Sunday at 9:30 a.m., Maria Mozeffer takes you beyond the noise and beyond the divides. She'll break down the nation's biggest legislative stories, unpacking the truth behind the spin and exploring perspectives that matter to you. Tune in to the Lightning Strike on WCPT 820 AM and be part of the conversation that challenges the status quo. Don't miss Breaking the Echo Chamber, where the echo stops and the dialogue begins. In the studio with us, Maria, thank you so much for joining us and being part of the team.
Thank you for having me.
Your deep dive today on the echo chamber, breaking the echo chamber. Can you please walk us through it?
Thank you. So breaking the echo chamber means that we need to go beyond political silos and really get into the meat of decisions and policies. So let's start out with, we were talking about deportations. I actually heard Governor Pritzker on CNN this morning, and what we're going to start seeing is that battle between the federal and the state. And it's pretty fascinating to watch if you're a con law buff of any aspects of how this is going to play out. Governor Pritzker specifically stated that, look, we don't want anyone that breaks the law
to be here.
Nobody wants criminals around that have already broken the law entering the country. However, he has said that you cannot go after people that are law-abiding. You cannot go after people that have families, that have contributed, right? And Illinois is a state that honors that. So he specifically stated that the state law enforcement officers will not be carrying out anything that does not follow proper procedure. And he said if we don't see a warrant from the federal agents that come down, we're not handing anybody over. So what you're going to see is state and federal clashing.
Yeah.
But you're also, as a country and a nation, we have to also understand where does the Constitution lie. And we have to be with the Constitution. And so that is something that Governor Pritzker was saying again and again. And I appreciated that, to really break down those differences. But then the other thing I want to talk about, because, we talk about birthright citizenship, and this was discussed as well, and that is in the Constitution. And can only be changed via constitutional amendment. It cannot happen through a presidential proclamation. So I want to go back to what I was touching upon, is the whole drama and the presentation of all these executive orders, right? You had said that Stephen Miller is like watching this whole process. We've had all these things in prep wanting to be kind of shuffled out now. What is the whole message that the administration, or I would say the policy advisors, want to give going after birthright citizenship? Why is it so critically important to come out and be a talking point? And I feel, and I would love to hear what you think, is once you open up a topic in the public domain and start normalizing it, then there's like, oh yeah, this is not that bad. Why should people be American just because they're born here? Well, why is that the case? And so people who want to change that policy, want to change that trend, first bring out the most controversial, and then they start that discussion. And I think that is the purpose to throw in birthright citizenship. Will it stand the challenge of the legal challenges? Very difficult. But now you've got people.
You just don't repeal the 14th Amendment. That's not even a thing.
Yeah.
And let's face it. This all goes down to one simple word: racism.
Yeah.
Okay, just like Hitler did back in the 30s. You have to identify a certain group of people to be the bad guys, and that helps boost your own standing because you help saving the population from the quote bad guys, and people buy into it. That's where it really goes. Where the rubber hits the road.
And it's division. It's undivided states. It's a division. Anytime you cause division, no matter what type of entity it is, there's going to be a problem.
Hey,
heaven in heaven.
Sheila, coming from a background in India where the British had that divide and rule policy for like 300 years, this is what these guys are following now. That the same game plan over there is how can you divide everybody so that you have the power. Maria, please go on.
Well, I was going to say this is, what the administration is really not wanting to hear, but also loves to hear at the same time, is anybody using the word racist, unfortunately. So that's why I really want to be able to focus on the substantive policy and just talk about, because we have underlined, we can't control how people think, actually. We can't even control how people feel. Right? But we can change mindset when we educate people.
That's true.
And so we have to go down this route. So sending the message out of birthright citizenship starts people speaking in that direction. So let's see who we are as a nation. I mean, this is a test of the nation, How are we going to respond? Are we going to buy into that, be easily swayed, or are we going to say, no, wait a minute. Someone working hard and someone that's born in this nation is in the Constitution for a reason, and they contribute so much. And that's who America is. America is not one ethnicity, one race, one religion, one culture, which is the beauty of it. So who are we as a nation? Are we going to catch that? Right? Are we going to catch that? The other thing I want to talk about is DEI, which is connected because everybody's talking about DEI. Again, another quick talking point that they wanted to throw out. Let's throw that out. At 5 p.m., everyone in DEI got a notice that they were no longer employed. And what is the message there? The message, again, is there to, these programs are not merit-based. They're based on different factors. Now, anybody will argue that if you see someone succeeding and they are successful and competent and intelligent, it's because of their skills. Only is it when you feel like, somebody has gotten through in a way that they should not have gotten through, do you kind of address those issues, but that also includes privilege.
Maria, that's so important, because people who just misunderstand the concept behind DEI, it is not there to give special treatment to somebody who is not qualified. Right. The same qualifications still exist in those job descriptions. All it is there for is to put them on a even playing field. So they still have to have the same qualifications that another person has, and because they're maybe been disadvantaged throughout their life for being whatever ethnic group or whatever, they're opening up the door to get the qualified people in there.
And there could be biases, right? There could be biases. We are all humans. People interviewing could have a bias. Let me say this. There are such intelligent, incredible people around this world that have come into this nation that are our surgeons, our engineers, our lawyers, so many people that are building the foundations of this nation to success. And to close those doors to them, to feel like you are making some kind of impact towards success is actually a fallacy, because you're closing doors to brilliance. And so I think also, and I mean, we've seen these cases of discrimination in hiring practices. There are people very, very qualified. You have two candidates that are equal, and then somebody says, I don't think you're going to fit in on the golf course. Yeah, I don't think if you're wearing hijab, it's going to look so good on camera. Yeah. So what does this do? Who are we as a nation? I just want to take this one moment really quick to connect the dots here of how dangerous this is. Everybody remembers what happened in New Zealand when there was a shooting in the mosque. How did Jacinda Ardern respond? She could have responded with a lot of fear, a lot of, pause, but she actually said, wait, I want to send a message who New Zealand is. Every newscaster after that shooting in the mosque was wearing a hijab to show that there's nothing to fear when somebody wears a veil, to show who the country is. So when we are given these messages, we as a constituency have to decide if we're going to fall for those traps. Are we going to close the doors to brilliance? Are we going to mischaracterize merit? And are we going to take this issue of immigration as a national security issue? Or are we going to take it an issue of, let's see what is happening in our processes that we can improve?
And a lot of fear is happening as well around the country. People are afraid to come outside. They're afraid to go to work. Children are afraid to go to school. It's causing a lot of fear to a lot of people as well, with all of these different type of mandates and things that are happening.
And here's the thing. It's not just the people out there. The corporations that are bending a knee. Okay, today, Target announced that they are getting rid of all their DEI policies. Okay, McDonald's has already announced it. Walmart has announced it. Facebook has announced it. Folks, here's the thing.
Costco, by the way, has said they're still going to keep theirs, so kudos to them.
Okay, so that, we need to support businesses, folks, that are standing up over here. I'll give you a personal example, guys, okay? When I first came to this country, 1983-84, okay? 2 years I was working for Allied Signals Fisher Scientific in Saudi Arabia as their marketing manager. I knew the product line inside out, okay? I migrate back over here, and the first thing I hear is, you don't have American work experience.
Wow.
Okay. So my first job, with 2 bachelors and a master's degree and years of experience, international experience in marketing, was working in a Mexican restaurant in Schaumburg called Chi-Chi's. Okay. That was my first job. Okay. My wife was pregnant. We had to have a job. I was working 2 jobs then. Then I worked in a place called iExam Midwest because I was selling medical equipment, all of that. I knew how to operate those things. And at that time, the Daily Herald came in and did a story on me. So 1984, Daily Herald has a story that I'm going to dig out. A friend of mine, Paul Cotillo, brought it to me. We'll continue the story after the break, folks. But this is what you're talking about. Is when you have people coming in with a lot of experience,
brilliant
with a lot of energy, and they don't get a chance over here. So we'll be right back after this break. You're listening to The Lightning Strike on WCPT 820 AM. Lightning Strike.
again. So catch it in a bottle.
Have no fear with regard to renewable energy. If you own property, either residential or commercial, in Northern Illinois, you most likely qualify for massive federal, state, and utility incentives. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down this number, 630-785-0031. You can have a no-cost, no-obligation conversation with a ComEd green light expert that can help you figure out which incentives you qualify for. Again, call 630-785-0031 for a free, no-cost, no-obligation assessment. 630-785-0031.
Looking for personalized, family-friendly dental care? Visit Distinctive Family Dental in Joliet, where Dr. Sunil Karup and his expert team bring 25 years of experience and state-of-the-art technology to your smile. Unlike corporate-owned practices, we focused on tailored care for every patient, ensuring healthy teeth and perfect oral hygiene. Discover why families trust us for all their dental needs. Call 815-439-1270 or visit distinctivefamilydental.com today. Distinctive Family Dental, 2405 Essington Road, Suite D, Joliet, Illinois, 815-439-1270. Your smile deserves the best.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Lightning is striking.
Okay, so we're back on the radio, and on WCPT 820 AM, we come every Sunday morning from 9 to 10, and then you can also watch us on our Facebook page, and you can watch us on the YouTube channel and our website later on. With me in the studios today, Ken DeLuke, Maria Muzaffar, and Sheila White, and we are discussing today the slew of executive orders, the shiny objects that Trump has thrown at us in his first week in office. Maria, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say one thing, and then I want to go on to the LA fires, actually, and President Trump's role in it. So I would say, first of all, your story that you just said before the break was very, very compelling, and a perfect example of how brilliance gets mischaracterized because of ignorance.
That's right.
Not knowing the global world. Can you imagine that the person hiring you doesn't know? Listen, he does not have experience working in America. He has larger experience that can change the game for your company, right? So these are the kind of biases and our ignorance that DEI can change. Has it been maybe misused? All programs can be misused.
Exactly.
All programs can be misused.
I'll tell you something very funny to follow up on this. Okay, so I'm working two jobs. Eye Exam Midwest as an ophthalmic technician. It was a new place, and the franchise owner, Dr. Alan Udesky, comes in, and I'm being introduced as one of the new people on staff, right? So Dr. Udesky looks at me and says, "What do you think about our operations, Mohammed?" I said, "Your operation sucks." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Your marketing, doc, it is not working." He said, "What do you know about marketing?" I said, "Well, I got marketing experience." He said, "Can you come back in a week with a better plan for us?" So he gives me a week. I go and analyze everything that they are doing. This is like 1983-84 we're talking about, right? So a week later, Udesky comes in and says, "What do you have for me? Let's go out for lunch." So he takes me to an Italian restaurant. I've never had Italian food before, so I have no idea how to eat those noodles and things or whatever like. So he's twirling it on his fork, putting it in his mouth. He's like, "Okay, so tell me about it." So I tell him about it. He listens intently and says, "Can you make this presentation to my board?"
There you go.
2 days later. I said, "Sure, doc." So 2 days later, I'm in front of his board. I'm making a presentation. And the next day, they make me the marketing manager for the entire chain.
There you go.
Interesting.
So,
That's the way
but
it
in
is.
this story, Mohammed, the person that you interviewed with and this Udesky individual, two different people.
Two different people.
And that's
Yeah.
where the bias can happen.
Right.
And then we all lose out as a nation because not everyone's a Mr. Udesky.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
what I'm saying is that Paul Cotillo was a Schaumburg police social worker. He came in to get his eyes checked. And we got to talking. And he says, "Man, with your background, what are you doing over here?" I'm like, "Paul, this is the first job that I could get when I came back to the country over here." And he gets the Daily Herald to come to my home and interview me and take pictures and all of that.
Wow.
And the next week, there is a full story about how this qualified person came in and he's legal and he's not able to get a job in this country. What are we doing? By the way, Paul and I have been friends for 40 years
Wonderful. I bet. I mean, but the story here is this. The story, I want to have everyone hear this story as an example because this is how I'm viewing it. No matter what policy comes down, no matter what executive order comes down, you do good work. I mean, I'm a person of faith. God will open up doors for you. You know, that is the story that we need to be optimistic. We need to counter narratives. We need to counter policies. And we need to know that good work is going to be recognized. Excellence cannot not go recognized. So that's very significant.
Yeah, Patricia Watson is always listening to us, and she shares our program with a lot of the people, especially in the 6th Congressional District. Patricia, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. She has sent a message out to Facebook that elections have consequences. But folks decided the felon who told us what he and his cohorts had planned was better than the prosecutor with nary a hint of scandal attached to her. Patricia, thank you so much for your comment. Folks, you can go back and read Patricia's comment on Facebook. And you can always reach us out, through email when you go to our website. But this is the thing that where DEI comes in. It's not always about giving somebody who does not deserve recognition, but understanding that
access.
Yeah, and people of different ethnicities, people of different faiths, different colors.
That's right.
They can make a contribution that has to be recognized.
And as an African American, I can really strongly suggest that because for so long, a lot of African Americans that were qualified that came here from other places didn't have the opportunity, not only to get certain jobs, to live in certain areas. So it seems like we're going back a little bit, that wheel is turning back with some of these policies. So it's really important for people to stand up. There's a lot of good people out there in the country, and I think that we need to stand up, do the right thing, trust and believe that things are going to work out better first by the voting pool. You have to go and vote the right things in, and you have to stand for what's right. No matter what happens, no matter what the newsreel say, fake news or real news, you have to be aware, be educated, as Madia was saying, and get the right information so that you can make an informed choice. It makes a difference.
So let's break the echo chamber a little bit on this because, so the narrative that is compelling for individuals that are countering DEI programs is what happens to the 17-year-old white male, the 26-year-old white male, right, that is interviewing for a job and somebody else comes in that has a culturally, diverse identity. And then the CEO says, I really want my company to look a little different, to look varied. So I think that I'm going to hire this person who's not the white male. So this is why we need to get into the psychology of why people find it compelling, that are buying into it, right? What is that white male supposed to do? And I'm interested in thinking what your thoughts are. What should the narrative be? What do we tell that white male who is just as qualified as the other person, but they are,
That's a short answer. I got a very
as the white male in the group.
Yeah, I got a short answer for that. Let me answer that. Okay, you tell the white male, you're in the competitive job market. The best man wins. If you want to get that job, best woman, I wasn't discriminating there. You just be better than the person you're going against.
What did the white male would say?
Because the message was coming down from the administration.
So basically, if you want that job, be better than the person you're competing against, regardless of what their race or sex or situation is. I mean, bottom line, that's the way it should be. It should be a merit-based system.
Yeah. All across the board. So that's interesting, right, Ken? Like, it's compelling because we're saying it's not a merit-based system and it should be a merit-based system, but the arguments are used in the opposite way. But if it's a merit-based system, everyone should be comfortable.
Yeah. Right. And DEI just says you get to come to the playing field and compete.
Yeah.
That's all that says.
Okay, so let's go back in the next 10 minutes that we have into looking at the executive orders that has been taking so much airtime now. Trump has authorized military personnel to function as immigration enforcement agents. This is crazy, man. That's not what the military is supposed to be doing. Okay. Energy and environment, I think we can only cover a few things today, but he has declared a national energy emergency. And he keeps on saying, drill, baby, drill. What are the consequences of that? Mr. President, have you ever had to go out and take a deep breath somewhere where the air is so polluted that you can't survive?
For example, California.
Yeah.
No, there's no global warming or climate change. It's ridiculous. And what's really scary about that is he's saying that he doesn't want to give California money. Doesn't he realize that California has contributed more to the federal budget than any other state in the country? And they actually use like not even close to the amount of money that they contribute.
Okay.
Whereas Alabama, it's a whole different story.
He has also withdrawn from the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement, like it did the first time around. Mm-hmm. Okay, don't think we are forgetting things that you have done, Mr. President. We remember this, and for the Republican Party, we are going to be remembering this, folks, when the next elections come along. So you guys are just kowtowing to this demigod of yours, the orange, blob that is up there. Don't you think that the people are going to remember this? He paused the offshore wind leasing in federal waters. He rescinded the Biden-era protections for Alaska's coastal areas. He ended the federal regulations encouraging electric vehicle sales. Not only that, he has also withdrawn us from the WHO. Okay.
What does Elon think about that, by the way, the electric vehicle sales? I'm thinking that his buddies kind of has to have an issue with that to some extent.
See, Elon invested $244 million into Trump's campaign.
Yeah, that's right.
His net worth has already gone up by $200 billion. So this was a purely a commercial transaction for Elon. Okay, Elon does not give a darn for the country or for us as Americans. Elon is all about making money, and the excuse that is given us, oh no, he's autistic, he's on the spectrum, so he does things like the Heil Hitler salute. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is what Elon is. And
well, I was just saying, number one, I think Elon has many profit sources. I don't think this is going to hurt him. But I think also what we have to understand is that what we're seeing on the front lines, the message that the nation is receiving by keeping people so close to the Oval Office, is that it's all about money. Mm-hmm. This nation is going to be successful if we have more money. All of you will be happier if you're richer. And that's not a message that is grounded in any reality. Anyone who's visited the world, you'll see that the happiest people that are living balanced lives are people that don't have as much money, but they know how to work the system in the sense that they have a healthy family and they have a balance. So that's not a message that we're getting across. But one thing I did want to talk about, because it's tied to California, did you see Trump go down to L.A.?
Yep.
And so, again, when he was in L.A. and he was stating what he was stating and he was meeting with Governor Newsom, he was presenting himself as someone who is decisive and who's coming to take action when there's a sleeping party. That's the message he wants to send. And he said that I think he got in an argument back and forth with the mayor of LA. Mm-hmm. Yep. And he said, you're not using your emergency powers. You really are not. So I'm saying again and again, we have to look at the way these executive orders are rolled out, why they want to change the mindset of the nation and start talking about topics that we haven't talked about in a new way, and then show that there's executive decisions that have urgency, and that now Trump has come in and everybody was cheering in that audience, obviously, but he had said, we're going to bring water from somewhere else, we're going to deny the federal permits are going to be completely waived. That is executive, and no matter how we like it, we see that Americans respond to that. They want people responding to their needs. So what is the other message going to be to counter that? That energy takes off, unfortunately, in many ways, but it takes off in people who really, really want their problem solved immediately. Everybody, when that federal permits were waived, everybody was like, thank goodness, we want to build, we want to go back into our homes, right?
So here's the thing, folks. This is something that I'm not dumping on the Republicans as a party. I am dumping equally strongly, or if not more strongly, on the Democrats, because Democrats have lost the messaging. Okay, that's right. They have to get their acts together. Americans have to get our acts together. Let's forget about the Democrats and the Republicans, folks. That is not what our country is based on, right? We have to come together as Americans and make sure that we are holding our elected officials responsible. As simple as that. Okay, we don't have time to get into all the executive orders today. So we're going to be talking about, maybe we'll continue the conversation next week because this is very important for us to understand. The federal, Ken, to come back to your question about, this federal regulations encouraging the electric vehicle sales is going to hurt, what's his name? What's his name? Elon. Elon doesn't give a darn about electric vehicles. Let me tell you this. Why? Because China is coming in to eat his lunch with cheaper electric vehicles. Elon has already made his money elsewhere. He's going to be making his money blowing up more rockets.
Well, currently Chinese electric vehicles have been banned in the United States.
Oh, no. Forget about it.
Unless they overturn that.
They will come. Don't you worry about it, because Elon is making more money sucking up to Trump than he's ever made in electric vehicle sales. And let me tell you this. When he first announced Tesla, he had taken deposits from people to deliver the first Tesla vehicles. And then he comes back and says, oh, the price is going up, so you better give me more money. This guy is worse than Trump, man. He's another one of those. And the other day I made a remark on Facebook that I don't know if you guys know this or not, but back home in India, there was a 420 that was part of the Indian Constitution. So if somebody is a fraud and liar and a cheater, they are prosecuted under Section 420. Okay. So the term 420 became like, Maria says 420. Yeah, that's what it is, right? So it became synonymous with somebody who's lying and cheating.
Now, it's weird. I thought 420 always referred to smoking pot in California, but I could be wrong.
No,
it's translated in many ways.
That's the point.
So 420, it seems, is Elon's favorite number. Okay, so I'm not kidding about this, but this is who we are looking at, folks. These are the people who are taking over country. We don't have time today to discuss about Pete Hegseth, who got confirmed by Razor Thin, not even Razor Thin, they were the tie, and Speaker Johnson got on his knees and said, Mr. God, I bow down to you. Okay. Pam Bondi is coming in as an Attorney General. Pam Bondi's history is so hilarious. I mean, if you go back and look at what she did in Florida, it'll blow your mind. Okay. This woman is not qualified to be a dog catcher. And in Trump's first administration, when she was Attorney General of Florida, there was lawsuits filed against Trump's university. Okay. And almost like 7 different states signed on to that lawsuit. Pam Bondi did not sign on to the lawsuit. Guess why? Because she got a check for $25,000 from Trump's charity, and anything, some more money from Ivanka. And this is all documented facts, so we're not making things up, right? Now, Trump's university collapsed so that the sham charity that Trump had written the check to Pam Bondi from. So in the first Trump administration, when she was being considered, Trump's advisors came in and says, she's never going to survive a congressional Senate hearing.
She did.
And so she was not part of the Trump administration. Now she's coming back again. So this is what the administration that we're looking at, folks. I cannot overemphasize. I keep on talking every Sunday morning. I'm like, please get up, open your eyes, look at what our country is getting towards.
I want to say this is that what we see is politics and loyalty. Loyalty.
That's a good point.
Politics has to be about smart policy. Smart policy and a vision for the nation. It cannot be about loyalty.
Absolutely. On that note, folks, we want your loyalty to be with the lightning strike every Sunday morning. Spread the word. Have more people come in and listen and join us. We would definitely want you to support the show, and you can go to our website, which is again tlschicago.com, and you can make a contribution to the state, to the program through the website. On that note, we are tuning down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are out for the day.
The preceding program, The Lightning Strike, was sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of Heartland Signal, LLC, or its management.